Don't watch the sales grow. Empowered to win with eRank we flow.
Hello, eRank. Welcome to, I think this is our second webinar of the year. I'm Pam, and this is Bryan.
Hi, Bryan. Hey, everyone.
And today we will be doing a beginner's guide to one of eRank's latest tools, the category report. Hopefully to show you all what it is, what it does, and if you have any questions, throw them in the chat at any point, and hopefully one of us will spot them. Yay.
The beautiful thing about this tool is it's data that we have not seen before except in our own shops, and now we can see it across all of Etsy. It's absolutely amazing. I'm excited to introduce many of you to this tool if you haven't seen it yet, or just show you how to use it and how it can benefit you if you have played with it already.
Exactly. I think that's something we should mention straight away, especially for anyone getting us on catch up. This is brand new data that we've got about real buyer behavior on Etsy. So like our search data, this doesn't come directly from Etsy. Etsy doesn't give this data to anyone, but it comes from a third party, from vast panels of people who've opted in for their information to be used. But this is data that, we've not seen before, and it's really cool. And I think there's so many different ways we can use this data, and we'll probably think up more as we're sitting here going through it together as well. But already I'm kind of excited with the possibilities.
So we've been able to use it from using Google Analytics. We've been able to see a lot of stuff in our own shops, but we've never been able to actually fully understand who is shopping on Etsy, except for whatever Etsy releases in their financial reports, which is usually as little as they have to share. And so you guys are going to be blown away. I'm very excited.
Exactly. And although this is shown as a competitor research tool, there's so much more. Like if you're looking to do adverts or think up your shop's, who your target customer is and things, you've got some real data about who's doing the shopping, which is really pretty cool. And we can see some keywords in different ways than we've ever seen them before. And I'm looking forward to hearing how all you've been using this as well. Like I say, this is a new tool. It's something we've been seeing and not allowed to talk about for a few months now. But now it's out and we can talk about it.
All of our sketches come to life.
Yeah. So we have a few people in the house. Debbie is usually our star commenter here. So hey, Debbie. And hello from Italy. Lolanda is it. And Susan from Colorado. Amy from Kansas. And Nikki in the UK. Hey, I'm in the UK too. Bitter Gift Shop. I'm so confused. That is me every day. But if you let us know what you're confused about, we'll see if we can help you with that. I'm going to try and stop saying people's names because I can't do them. I don't know how to say this. So, but hello from the Ukraine and France. It still blows my mind that people all over the world are sitting watching us. And hello.
The middle of the day for some, the middle of the morning, the middle of the night. All types of times. Yeah. Time zones are fun. And hello from Toronto. I'm in Toronto. Anyone in the Canada seaboard? It's not really a seaboard. I just said it because it sounded fun.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. Yeah, hello from sunny Scotland as well. Sunny-ish Scotland. We're joking because one of our team members that you guys have not met Trisha yet, but she's one of the people on our team. She came out and she's been having holidays and she visited me in Scotland and amazed herself that she managed to get a sunburn in Scotland. So.
Especially since she was coming from Toronto, where we've had just insane heat and sun. She didn't get that good base tan here, apparently.
Apparently not, yep. I think it's just the whole where you guys can't be outside much. We were just wandering around chatting and it wasn't so hot. So yeah, that happens. Starla, best place to be, I think. Apart from bed, but couch is the best place to be.
All right, so why don't we share the screen and jump into the tool now?
Let's do that. How do I stop sharing this comment? There we go. All right. So here's our tool. And what is it and how do they get there, Brian?
So this is the Etsy category report. And you'll get to there through the competitor research on the sidebar and category report. And this is a tool. It's a new tool that only came out not that like a few weeks ago or something like that. And it is going to give a lot of information once we dive into this. It's going to be exciting. I just have to remember which screen to click on because I'm looking at two different screens. So what this does, if we just hover over, you'll see this on many of the tools. You'll see a little icon right next to the tool, and that's a little tooltip. And so this will tell you that the Etsy category report is to see an analysis of Etsy category activity based on the past 12 months of data. View each category's most search keywords and most click keywords, as well as a breakdown of the age, gender, and locations of US buyers in that category within the last 12 months. So this gives information, this gets all the demographic information. It is only using US data, and it is only in the last 12 months. That might expand, it might not. We just need to see what kind of data we have access to, and if there is enough data, then we will be adding whatever we can add to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. But bear in mind with any of our tools, the US, whether you're from there or not, and we've already stated, myself and Brian are not from the US, but the vast majority of buyers are from the US. So whether you sell there or not, which I usually say everybody probably should, but I realize things are difficult and confusing just now. But whether you're shipping to the US or not, worldwide trends tend to be a lot more similar nowadays. So the more data we have, the more accurate, the more you're able to paint a picture of it than if we went to some country that only has 2 buyers in the whole of that country and tried to drill down to little categories. So we have to show the big picture first, and then let us know if it helps you, how it helps you, and we'll see if we can expand on it as we know how it works for everyone.
Exactly. It's just there is a lot more data from the US. I believe the last quarterly report said there's still over 55% of buyers or of the money spent on Etsy came from the US. And so that's why there's just that much more data, because they still have the lion's share of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't sleep on the US data. It's definitely the biggest just now.
Exactly. So let's dive into how this tool works. So we're just going to choose a section. We'll do home and living. And then it starts showing all of the data for that category. So this is just the main category, and then you could break it down into subcategories. You can only go down one subcategory at the moment to see what kind of data. So at the moment, $15.67 is the average sold item price for everything in the home and living section. So all of the home and living in the US, the average price is $15.67. Then we get into the subcategories. That's the first section here, which shows home decor is the top. The 34% of the listings that have been purchased were in the home decor section. Then we got kitchen and dining at 18.3, outdoor and gardening at 7.46. So the most popular is home decor, and then it drops down all the way down to your food and drink, which is at 3.2%. So not as many people are buying from the food and drink as they are from home decor, naturally.
Yeah, but there's always ways to drill into niches, but it is nice to know who the big guys are. And if you've been following our trend reports, you'll be seeing that home decor, wall art, all these kind of things have been trending for years now. So it's not a massive surprise, but nearly 35%, that's a big chunk.
That's a big chunk of the home and living section.
Home and living is a big section on Etsy as well, isn't it? Well, we should maybe ask the team if they can show us the breakdown of the top categories like that. So if we know home and living, the percent of that of the total.
On that main page, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Sean, if you're listening.
We're going to have notes for developers this whole time, so hopefully someone's writing something down. And then we move on to the age breakdown of buyers. So in the home and living category, 25 to 44 seems to be the biggest chunk. But then over 65 is still over 10%. So if you are making stuff for people in the age bracket of over 65, people are still buying. There's a lot less for in the 18 to 24. It seems like they don't really have homes at that age yet. So they're not necessarily buying unless they are moving into their first home or into dorms. That's why you'll see a little bit, but that'll be your lower category. But 25 to 44 is when people are getting their first home. And this kind of just shows that people are buying the home decor in that age group.
Yeah, so this is where, now you probably want to drill down into the subcategories, but at this level as well, if you're thinking, what social media is my target audience likely to be on? If you look at the age and say, what age of people are on this platform? 35 to 44, that's probably YouTube, Pinterest. Still getting a bit of Facebook and things, so you know where your people hang about.
Exactly. Then we move on to the gender breakdown. And in this case, in home decor, which you'll find across most of Etsy, because Etsy does have more female buyers than anything, it's 77%, but there is still 21% of buyers in the home and living category are male. So don't only focus on women if you don't have to. If your products can be for everybody, if you could make a different color to appeal to a different gender as well, there you have both buying in this category. It's not one higher than the other. I believe jewelry, that's where you'll see more of a discrepancy, but in home decor, you're still at 21% is male. So that's a very important thing for when you're creating products or even just coming up with colors or way to promote your products. Knowing the gender breakdown is quite important.
Absolutely. And also bear in mind that even if it's mostly females, people can be buying for other genders.
Yeah.
You're not limited. Although in the Etsy buyer surveys, people have said repeatedly that the number one person they buy on Etsy for is themselves. So.
I can attest to that.
Absolutely.
Moving on, we have most clicked shops. So if you're looking for the competitors, the top people in that category, not necessarily a niche, but in that category, it'll show you the top 10 that get the clicks within that category and then subcategory once we jump into those. So that's good to look at what other people within that category are doing. It's just helpful to know what other people are selling.
Absolutely.
Then
so
we
these
get
can be your competitors. The little star beside them means you can start tracking these shops if they look important for you. And I think we should be able to click on the shop to go and look at it as well. I haven't checked.
I have not checked. Yes.
Yep. So if you want the shop
So
info.
not to call out small devotion supplies, but they are the number one clicked in the home and living category. And so you can jump right into their shop and see all of their shop information straight from the category report. And then it's the same type of thing with the most searched keywords. So number one is gift. Number two is wall art. Even though this is the last 12 months, which is weird.
Halloween is the biggest holiday on Etsy, pretty much.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yep. Subtle, love it.
The number 4 here is Pokemon. That's one thing that we always say is be careful with keywords. Just because a keyword is hot doesn't mean you could actually use it. Pokemon is a registered trademark of Nintendo, and they do come after people. They do bring down shops. So even though people are searching for it, doesn't necessarily mean you should use it or can use it. You are risking your shop. You're risking everything.
Yeah, unless it's vintage, because I feel very old, but Pokemon started over 20 years ago.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Oh, Kat, I have to show this. Goths are planning world domination. We're already there.
Go to any store right now, and we've already taken over.
Yeah.
Which does hurt us like Etsy sellers, but that's a completely different topic for another day. Then we have gift for him and gift for her. Personalized gifts. So if you're doing home decor, personalized is a very, very common thing that people are searching for. So if there is something that can be personalized, aim for that, because 55,000 and 53,000 people are searching for that.
And come the holiday season, which we should all be thinking about, Etsy almost always pushes personalized things because it's its unique selling point.
Exactly. And then just for just sort of confirmation that Halloween is much better. Halloween was number 3 with 62,000 searches in the last year in the home decor, home and living. And Christmas was number 10.
I think the searches are the total searches. We haven't broken them into the home and living.
It says most searched keywords in home and living.
Yeah, but if you click on one of the keywords, it will take you to the keyword tool. So that says 43. So I think it's the total, because it was looking a bit confusing if we showed the breakdown. Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah,
fair. Damn.
I know.
That's even better. Halloween is good across the board instead of just in the home and living. So
exactly.
Sorry about that.
Is that you ka-chinging again?
It is.
Just showing off. Yeah, guys, you have to join us on a live if you want to make sales. Sales always happen on the live.
They sure do. So that's and there's the star next to each one of these keywords, just like with the most clicked shops, where you can add them to your track shops for the sales competitor tool. There's a star next to each of these, which when you click them, you can add them directly to your keyword list. That keyword list that's open happens to be full, so I can't add it, but you can add them directly to a keyword list. That way, when you're doing your research, oops, I clicked on it. When you're doing your research, you can quickly add the keywords that work for your type of product, or keywords that you're thinking, maybe that's what I want to use for mine, because there's a lot of searches, there's a lot of clicks, and
you should be able to add them to a different list if you go to the 3 dots next to the keyword. You can do it there, but from 3 dots. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Gothic home decor list, which shouldn't be full. And then when I add it,
it won't show there because you've got the other keyword list open at the bottom. Yeah, but it should be in.
Oh, but I added it because I put a check mark. Yep. Got it.
And I think we can even click and drag keywords into our keyword lists as well. That's new features that have been added. No, or maybe with, I can't remember how you do it. Yeah.
And then similar to the most searched, we have the most clicked, which is also a very important metric, because just because people are searching for something doesn't mean they're actually finding what they're looking for and going into it. And so we actually have Christmas ornaments on the most clicked, but there's no pumpkins or other Halloween type items. Sad.
Yeah. Oh. And that shows you the percent of the clicks in the home and living, which is very handy. I discovered one of these in the books and bookmark section. Is bookmark is the number 1 most clicked in that category, and I was like, that's why my surprise bookmarks did well then.
And then scrolling down, we have a breakdown of how that works in the US for the home and living section. So it looks like Texas has am I sorted by that? Okay, so
Yep.
it is sorted by
Yep.
the percentage of sales. So Texas has the most sales in the home and living section, or the home and living category, and the average order value is $110. Illinois, even though they have a much smaller percentage of sales, the sales value, the order value is actually $14 higher. So this can kind of help you not only decide where to sell to, which might help kind of work your products. If you're selling more to Texas, then you want it to be more Texas themed. If you're selling more to California, have it more California themed. And this kind of gives you an idea of the order values for the different states, to kind of give you an idea of who is spending the most money within those categories. So if one is really, really low, that might not necessarily be one to focus on. Like New Hampshire here at the very bottom, there it is. There's 1% of the sales are going to home and living, and it's only $77 versus the $110 or $125 that the other states had. So that's a much lower one. So that might not necessarily be one to focus on with higher value items because they're not spending as much.
Yeah, it could definitely help you, especially something like home.
Especially
Day.
Wyoming at $34.
Yeah. Once we get really far down the bottom where it's just a fraction of a percent, then obviously the order value, we're looking at less orders. So don't get too hung up on the numbers way down here. But it's just like, yeah, they're not spending quite as much. There's definitely.
But that's not necessarily the case, because Wyoming, while we have 0.55% and they're spending $34, then we have where is it, Montana, which has 0.4%, so slightly less people, but their order value is $165. If you can focus on Montana, it's harder to get that sale, but when you do, they like spending money.
Yep. So it's definitely handy to see, and maybe gives you an idea of where to focus on to start with. Or if you want to drill down into a niche, perhaps people aren't focusing in on South Dakota or Montana enough, and you could be that, you might want to start as the big fish in the really tiny puddle and have really avid fans from Montana.
Exactly. And then if we scroll back up, so these are the top subcategories. And if we jump into lighting, then you get that same kind of breakdown, but this is now specific for lighting. And the average value here versus the home and living category, the category by itself had an average of $15. Lighting has an average order value or average sold item price at $53.77. So if you're selling lighting items, you could sell them for much higher than just general home and living. That's always good to know. And this has slightly more males as well, where it was only 21% in all of home and living. Lighting has 24%. So there's a little bit more. Halloween is number one, which is
Yay.
awesome, because why not?
That's your that's your Gothic light covers, isn't it?
That, and we have lamps and lots of different
Yeah.
things. It's and so this kind of tells you that lighting spends a little bit more. You still have that range of 25 to 44. It's female dominated, but males have a good presence there. Halloween, home decor, baby gift, they're hot in the lighting. I guess lighting for baby gift would be like night lights and that kind of thing. So if you're making night lights, focus them towards babies, and they're hot in this category. And 3D printed is apparently big too.
Wow, Fallout did really good. And again, like Pokemon, that's likely something you can't touch as a direct thing. But if you're seeing, there's definitely something like Fallout has a definite style. You can't say it's based on Fallout or anything to do with that. But
post-apocalyptic is apparently doing well.
Exactly.
And then when you scroll down, Texas is not number one for lighting. Delaware becomes number one, followed by California and New York. They're all very similar, but look at these prices. New York, the average order value, $672. So if you're selling lighting and it's Halloween or baby gift themed, look at these prices that you can
New York's the
charge.
place to go. So is it dark in New York with a lot of rooms that need lights?
Apparently. And so that was actually helping bringing the order value up, because a lot of these, while some of them are still low, some of them are still around that 100 mark, which was the average order value for all of the home and living category. Some of them are up at $340, $347, $220. So lighting, look at this one, Kentucky. Over $1,000 is their average order value for lighting. There's less people buying, so it's a much fiercer market to get an item to sell, but they are spending a lot more. And so that's always good to know.
I wonder what happened there. Oh, I'd love to drill more into that, which we totally can't. We can't find out what shop, what was the lucky shop there. But yeah, if it gets too low in the percent, you could almost be talking about like just a couple of buyers suddenly had a spending spree. But yeah, that was incredibly high.
Yep.
And this is just your first level category. As we said at the start, you can't dig any deeper because it just becomes, there's too little data at this stage.
Exactly. And if you look at the most clicked shops, of course, most of these have lighting in the name. You got Smile Lamp Works, old Cool Now lamps, old brick lighting. So those are the top shops in the lighting category, and they happen to have light or lamp in their name.
That's cool to know that in lighting they're really good targeted focused niches, and they're pretty cool shop names as well. Something's coming to mind with them.
Yep. You know what they sell.
Jennifer saying, I would guess something to do with Derby and racing. Yeah, I have
possible.
no idea.
Maybe they have a lot of signs that are in the shape of Kentucky.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Man caves are big there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely worth drilling into. Now, we did get asked, the Artsy Mama asked, how do we drill down and find categories and data for digital download products? And that is not specifically what this tool is for, although what categories have we got? Can you go back to that?
Planners, maybe. So at the top, I guess planners is not a subcategory. So in the top of all of these screens, you'll see a category name button, and this is a searchable field. So if you start typing something, you'll see the category and subcategory. So this is books, movies, music is the category, and then books is the subcategory. And you could scroll through. I'm not sure what category would be the best one for digital stuff.
Paper and party supplies, maybe. Yeah, Etsy really does need to make a digital category for us. That would be much easier.
Those just have paper and party supplies as their subcategories. Except I'm guessing that would include stickers, but that also would include digital items, I imagine, because the average sold price is $7. It's very low because stickers and digital files are usually lower value items. Oh yeah, and if we look at the keywords, we got stickers, Halloween, sticker, planner, and then the most click keywords, we got stickers, planner, stickers, digital planner, digital products, custom stickers, calendar, advent calendar. So this is where most of them would end up. And I imagine that they end up in the paper subcategory, even though they're digital, because they're calendars, because they're planners, they're for printing. People would use the paper category. And again, average sold price, excuse me, is $588. So it's on the lower side because you have the stickers, because you have the digital files, which tend to be a little bit cheaper too.
Yeah, but I mean, bear in mind, this is a high overview tool. To drill into more things, something like the keyword tool, we might have other things in the pipeline that might be good as well, but we're not allowed, we couldn't possibly comment on that. But also, that E in the bottom right corner that Brian's hiding just now, you can always click on that to let our team know if there's anything you would like added here. Now, we can't add absolutely everything that everybody asks for, but especially a tool like this is in beta. We're going to be making changes based on what you're saying. So if you give us some ideas, if there's a way that our team can pull out the data, I'm not entirely sure, but there might be something they can do there if you don't ask. There's certainly no harm in asking.
Exactly.
And we've had requests for jewelry and games category. We might as well have a look at look at things while we're here. This tool is available for our paid subscriptions, and for the free and basic, I believe you get a little view. You get a sort of limited view, but a little. I think, if I remember correctly, you still get the demographics, the age and gender and stuff, which I think is super helpful data anyway.
So for jewelry, the average sold item price is $27, which is almost double the home decor, and like 5 or 6 times the paper products. So that's good. Necklaces seems to be the biggest of the subcategories, followed by rings, bracelets, earrings, which means more people are searching for necklaces on Etsy than they are anything else. Especially once you drop down to jewelry sets or body jewelry, that's not as popular. So if you are making jewelry, aim for those top ones. You want necklaces, rings, bracelets, etc. There is still a section here. It ends up number 10 on this list. Cremation and memorial jewelry. That is, it's a very very niche category, but the people that are looking for it, they are shopping on Etsy for it, which is very nice. I know that in the Handmade Alpha group, I know that there's a bunch of people that do the memorial jewelry and stuff like that, and that's a good place to look, which we'll look into in a second.
Yeah,
naturally, Caitlin Minimalist, the number one seller on all of Etsy, is in the jewelry category. So there she is.
Yep, that's it. If she wasn't there, I'd be very worried. Something would be very wrong.
That would be a demo fail.
But yeah, guys, just be aware, these are like a high-level tool, so don't rule out anything lower down. It's just something, if you're wanting to know where your target audience hang around, or if you're looking to move into something new, it just gives you some ideas. But if you can be the top shop in memorial jewelry, you can do really, really well. And it's quite often good to start at the bottom, at the lower competition, and work your way up.
Exactly. And one thing to notice here is necklaces is the top subcategory. So that means more people have bought necklaces on Etsy than any of the other categories. But if you jump down to most search keywords, earrings is much higher than necklace. So that's something to keep in mind, that more people are searching for earrings, but not necessarily pulling the trigger, or not necessarily spending as much on earrings as they are on necklaces. So that's just kind of the information that you can glean from this type of data.
Yeah, we've got Jennifer's saying she's confused about memorial jewelry. My son passed away, and I'm very sorry to hear that. I can't even travel with these ashes without mandatory paperwork, so how can you ship it? Good question.
It's not necessarily ashes. It's not necessarily hair, that kind of thing. It's it could be just a photo pendant. It could be I make little tombstones, that kind of thing. There's a whole host of different memorial stuff, but you can ship remains to certain states. Like I have a giant skull collection. That's just something I have, and a wet specimen collection. And certain types of things can't be sold in Canada, so certain things I just can't get. Certain things can be shipped through UPS, but can't be shipped through Canada Post. I know in the US, certain states, it's illegal to have human remains, but other states, it's perfectly fine. And so when it comes to memorial stuff that's actual things, or cremation stuff that's the actual person, it'll vary state to state, country to country, depending on what you can do. And so if you are a seller of those products, that's something that you do need to do research on.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I know you might look and go, oh, that's too much work for me to have to do research to figure that out. But if it's a niche you want to get into, those kind of barriers to entry are a kind of cool thing, because a lot of other people go, I couldn't be bothered with that. So if you put the work in, then you have a good chance of leading that niche.
Exactly. That's something that happened when Germany changed to Lucid, where you need to have a Lucid registration to be able to sell into Germany. That's their recycling program. A lot of people thought that's too much work, and Germany blew up. For any of the sellers that were still selling to Germany, it was huge because a lot of sellers pulled back. So selling in a field that has a barrier to entry actually makes it a lot easier to sell in, a lot easier to find success in, because fewer people are willing to put in the effort.
Yeah. Mateus is asking if this is our platform. We work for eRank. We're part of the team at eRank. We've got quite a let's just say a growing team. Yeah, a load of people, but we didn't create it. Anthony Wolf created eRank, and we've got a team of really clever people working on it. We're just here to tell you about it, and we ask the dumb questions and pass on your concerns to the team.
Exactly. You can find it at erank.com.
Yeah. The Artsy Mummy says, do you recommend incorporating the keywords into your tags and titles to boost visibility? Yes, but this isn't a keyword tool. It's under competitor research because it can help you find competitors. I'd say it's like a marketplace research. You can figure out, is Etsy a good place to sell this kind of thing? What kind of people are buying? But we have tools like the keyword tool that'll help you find the more niche keywords. Like if you say necklaces are fantastic, but what type of necklace? You've got to dig down. So we have the keyword tool and other tools to help you with that. But if you are making necklaces, your title and tags should say what kind of necklace they are. Absolutely. And Anasha, I've said that wrong, but did they remove the $5.99 plan? Our basic plan on eRank, Anthony Wolf joined us on a live 3 or 4 weeks ago to explain about what was happening with the basic. But yes, sadly, we've had to sunset that plan. People who already were in it are grandfathered into it for as long as you keep the basic, it'll be there. But sadly, due to some changes that Etsy made and a whole load of reasons that Anthony went into better than we can, sadly the basic plan is gone for new users.
Yeah. Jennifer said it's a much needed niche, as most people who lost someone they want memorial pieces. Exactly. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just censor it a little bit, but like I lost my brother a couple years ago, and so I made this little tombstone for him, and that because I can't always go to the cemetery, I have something that's on my desk as a memorial, and so it became something that I needed for my recovery and just for my peace of mind. And so it's something that we decide to sell, and people can customize it. People can add little photos. It's 3D printed, so we can do just basic things. And it's one of those categories that people, it's a very sensitive category. So as long as you approach it with sensitivity, it's perfectly fine. But it is something that's needed because it's just it's impossible to find. It's impossible to find out there on the market, especially if you're used to shopping on Amazon or AliExpress or whatever. It just doesn't exist. And so it's nice to be able to turn a piece of clothing into earrings, or like whatever the situation is, to as a memorial. There's lots of great artists on Etsy who are doing some incredible things. And
Yeah, I've seen loads, like turning baby clothes into a teddy or a blanket or something. Actually, probably one of the things, I make sculptures of people's dogs, and probably most of mine are memorial. I'm in floods of tears most days dealing with customers. It's sad, but it's lovely. And yes, people come to Etsy for those kind of personalized memorial things. Absolutely.
because
So
it's something you just can't find elsewhere. That is the beauty of Etsy over most other things. And you'll see that in all of the keywords that we showed. Personalized is always there, because that's why people come to Etsy. It's not only for the handmade items, but it's also for the personalized items that you just can't get anywhere else.
yeah. And I know a lot of people say, oh, don't do personalized, don't do custom work, it's too difficult. And it's difficult, but it is well worth it. It's challenging, but set your rules in place and things, and it can be really beautiful. I've had such lovely customers that way. Sure, you've got a bit more back and forwards, it's a bit more work, but it is worth doing it, I think.
I have found it to be a lot more rewarding in the end.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, the messages you get are just going to be so special. I still share, like, somebody purchased from me, it was a Franciscan monk, and he had two personal items that were on his table. One was a lamp and one was a picture of his pet sheep that he'd lost. And then they had me make a sculpture of his sheep. So he now has three things, three personal possessions. That's all he has. And I was like, that is lovely.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Tiffany's asked, and sort of we can't, with this tool, I sell badge reels for nurses and other medical professionals. Can you help me look at this data? So this isn't for drilling into niches as such. That's the keyword tool. So many other tools. This is the high level thing. What category are you in? What are the kind of people buying there and stuff? We can't go down in this tool to that level of data, but you can absolutely dive into the keyword tool. And then to find things, like you can find in the top listings there, you can find the top sellers in that niche. You can find your competitor by using the keywords, but that's the drilling down. We can't go that sort of granular with this. This is high level data. Matthias, did you use eRank for some of your stores if you've got one? Yes, both myself and Bryan. Very much so. We have stores. Bryan has a fantastic store. I'm incredibly lazy, but eRank has definitely helped me grow and grow and grow. That's why I started working for eRank, because I was enjoying the tool so much.
Yeah, I've been using eRank for over 6 years. I started doing work for eRank about 2 years ago, but I've been using eRank for 6 years and built my main store up to, I don't know how many sales we have, 43,000 or something like that. In 6.5 or 7 years or something like that, we built it up to that. Most of it is because of eRank. We didn't really see much progress until we started diving into keywords, diving into SEO, seeing what other people are doing, seeing how my listings are being seen and if they're being seen, and all the different tools that eRank offers. And it's only increased in the number of tools and how in depth those tools are since then. But I've been using it for this whole time, which is why I've been brought onto the team.
Exactly. He was such a good seller and so good at helping everyone else using the tools that we were just like, we kind of need Anthony. We kind of need Anthony. We've got Anthony. We kind of need Bryan here. Absolutely.
And the beautiful thing is that there is a free plan. You could stay on the free plan forever. There's no, you only get a month on the free and then you have to pay, otherwise you get nothing. You can stay on the free plan for as long as it's useful. And if you run into limits or there's certain tools that you don't have full access to, then you could upgrade at any point in time and downgrade if you need to. You could do anything you want. There's no, like, you don't have to pay to use eRank, which is one of the most beautiful things as well. If you want the more in-depth data, especially the data that eRank has to purchase, then it'll cost money. But just to get a feel for it and see how it'll work for your shop, eRank is free, eRank.com, and there's no reason not to give it a try.
Exactly. Oh, here Jennifer is saying she noticed Hostess Gift 3 years ago on eRank, then it's changed to Host Gift that they're using more often. Yeah, that is the crazy thing. Like, so often in the forums you'll see people like, what's Etsy done? I've changed nothing in my shop and I was making sales 3 years ago and they've all gone away. Like, people might just be searching for different words.
Yep,
It's as simple as that. Yep. What people like changes, and doing now, I don't recommend that anybody is sitting for hours every day on eRank doing keyword research, but 15 minutes a week or something. It's almost good, sort of like the free tool has limits on it, so you can only do a few researches, because it's sad when you hear someone come on and say, I've got a shop with 1,000 listings in it and I want to audit all of my listings in one day. It's like, just don't. Like, my advice to you is don't try and do everything at once. Try and do a little bit, see how it helps, do a little bit of research, because if you change everything all at once, you don't know what changes you did that worked. Like, it's compounding. You research, you learn, you try and improve something, you circle back later and see if the changes did good or bad.
Exactly.
Right, guys, we have a few minutes left. So if anyone has any other questions or comments they want us to take back to the team or anything you want to know about this tool, should we dig into some more categories while we're being nosy and showcasing things? Yeah.
So someone asked for games. So here's toys and games. And it looks like toys are by far the biggest in that market. Games and puzzles are second with only 28%, and sports and outdoor recreation are half of that. So toys are definitely the biggest. 18 to 24 seems to be significantly lower than it is in other categories. But if we go over to the gender, we're at 28% is male.
That's the highest we've seen so far, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether that's buying for their children or buying for themselves, who knows? Depends on what you consider toys, because drones and stuff are toys, and anything could be a toy these days. Action figures and stuff like that are toys. But there's a lot more males in this category, and we'll dive a bit deeper into if that's in toys, games, or sports, because I guess sports and recreation might also lead towards that a little bit. Cat, dice, crochet, 3D printed. 3D printing is dominating most categories here. But D&D, I was expecting to see that a lot higher on the most search keywords, but most clicked, D&D, which is Dungeons and Dragons, is up there. And Magic the Gathering, which is a trademark, so don't use it. And Labubu is a trademark, so don't use it.
Yeah, make sure, always check these trademarks. But it's good to know for, like, if Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering, what are the things that people need? Like a dice bag, is that a useful thing to have? It gives you some ideas of what people are looking for.
And it looks
Even
like
if,
this one, Texas, is number 4 instead of number 1, with Florida, California, and Ohio beating it. I think that's the first time we saw Ohio being that high. So it seems like gaming or toys are big in Ohio.
it's super weird, people, isn't it?
Let's jump into toys and see how that nets. 35 to 44. Again, these two categories are the biggest, the 25 to 44 essentially, but this one has a huge spike at 35 to 44. Whether that's people buying toys from their past with that nostalgia, or that might be around the age that people are having children now, and so they're looking for toys. And males dropped down to 22, so it's not the toy category that the males are really searching, but this is where you have slime, custom
Anthony will be
plushes.
happy. For anyone who's an OG on eRank, whenever Anthony was on here doing demos, slime was his go-to keyword, and that got less popular over the years, but slime's making a comeback.
It's making a comeback as the most clicked keyword in toys. Not as many people are searching it, at least it's not in the top 10, but when people see it, they are clicking on it. So that is a positive. Clothes for Labubus. I don't get it. And Ohio dropped. So Ohio is not big on the toys. They were big in that main category, but not in the actual toy category. That's where Florida just blew up with 22%. So in Florida, people love their toys.
Oh, I am hearing the Midwest is the home of Dungeons and Dragons. The creator was based in Illinois. There we
There
go.
you go.
Learn
And
something
that would
new.
probably be the games and puzzles,
Yeah.
which male dominated with 33% almost. Not dominated, but males are a much larger percentage there. And if you look, 25 to 34 is actually larger versus the toy section where it was 35 to 44. So it actually skews slightly lower in the game and puzzle section.
That's just, I thought gamers were getting older, so that is interesting.
Apparently not. And then the most clicked keywords, we got dice, D&D dice, D&D, Magic the Gathering, dice tray, dice set, Magic the Gathering, MTG, MTG proxy. So like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons or dice games in general are absolutely huge. And what was that? Colorado is number
Yeah.
1 by a huge lot. And that's, I don't know if that's the Midwest, but that looks Middle West to me.
Oh, I'm terrible with my American geography.
Yeah, I don't know where the cutoffs are, but Colorado. If you're making Dungeons and Dragons things, Colorado, that's where you want to focus, apparently.
Yep. And for the keywords, we've said be careful and stuff. If you're making things that could be used by, say, Dungeons and Dragons or any of these things, check on the companies and see what their policy is for you using their terms. Some companies are happy with it, some companies are not. Something like Disney will need you to register and get approved by them, which is not going to be any of us Etsy sellers. I think you have to pay them a massive ton of money as well for every product. So
But there are a lot of companies that don't mind. There's a lot of authors or a lot of game developers and stuff like that, which do not mind. They like the exposure. They like that the community is getting involved in creating stuff for them, especially since if you're buying a dice tray on Etsy, you need to have the game to begin with. So they needed to sell you the game to then buy the accessories from Etsy sellers. And since they're not selling the accessories, someone else might as well, because it gets more people interested in it and increases their sales. So it just works. Everything works. Everything's tied together.
Absolutely. I think Starla has some advice on how to get these deals with authors and things, because that's what she's doing in her shop. So it seems like a hassle, but again, if you can get to be approved by the author or the creator or something, you're in a really good place.
Exactly. When we jump into the sports and outdoor recreation section or subcategory, now we're at 36% male.
That's
And
really
if you look at
over.
the most searched keywords, we got gifts for him, personalized gifts, gifts for him instead of gift for him, personalized groomsmen gifts, knives, swords. Knives are not allowed. Certain knives are not allowed on Etsy. So if you're selling knives and swords, or you make knives and swords, go to the prohibited section and see what you can and cannot sell, because it's a very strict limit on what you can and cannot. Then we got Zelda, golf, and men.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's interesting.
and there's your Ohio.
Yeah,
It's all Anthony buying all of the sports stuff.
it absolutely must be. Yep.
So if you're selling sports and that type of product, Ohio is a huge section for that. You got 38% of all sales of sports and whatever category this is, sports and outdoor recreation, is going to Ohio. So that is huge. That is something that you want to target. If you're just focusing on something like Nevada, that might not bring you as much traffic as if you're adding some Ohio stuff in there.
Yeah. Wow. What are you guys doing out there? Well, playing outside games. Yeah.
Yep.
Just the last thing to cover. Jennifer has asked if there's anything with genealogy since Ancestry is so popular. Again, this tool isn't there for that. But Brian, would you mind a quick keyword search for genealogy?
Yep.
Because this, if you're going niching down, we do have the tool, the keyword tool. So this is a better way to find out for down the niches. As we said, this category report is for the high level things. So yeah,
Oh,
currently
I feel like that's missing a letter. Genealogy. Maybe not. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong window. No, that's right.
yeah.
Genealogy.
So there's not a whole lot of searches. It looks like there was a spike a couple of months ago. So the thing to do if you can't see, people aren't necessarily searching for genealogy, but what other terms are they searching for?
Genealogy gifts. Remarkable genealogy. Genealogy notebook. Genealogy research. Templates. Gifts. Charts. Ancestry, I believe, will probably be a bigger one. Ancestry. Slightly bigger, not by much.
Not really. But if you filter by when that loads up, we did just say before we came on the internet, just click the search trends to filter by the search trends and see what other keywords and the related keywords. Yeah, that's it. So you can see what people are looking for sort of in Ancestry. So are people looking for wall art, family trees and things? They absolutely are. Templates about it, junk journals connected to Ancestry. So that here you can use the keyword tool to sort of dig into what things you might be able to make ancestors just perked up. Yeah. And the other thing you can do is look at the top shops to see the top listings to see what the top shops are selling. That might give you an idea of what people are looking for. Because when you go too small a niche, it's hard to find data. So you've got to dig into the weeds. So for everyone that was asking for more niche things, the keyword tool's the place to dive right into your niche to find those exact keywords. Whereas the category report's there to just get your, who's buying in this area and get some ideas there. It's not really a keyword tool.
Exactly. And that is it.
Yeah, hopefully that helped, guys. But don't forget, you can leave comments on this video to let us know what you think, what you need. But click that E button, let the team know anything we can improve, add to the tools. We will sure be having ideas as time goes on as well, and throwing them at the team, and hopefully we can get even more helpful things. But it's a high level tool to use in conjunction with our other tools. It's nothing's a standalone tool. You want to be looking at loads of things.
Exactly. And a lot of this, the only data that we can get for our own shops is with Google Analytics, tying it to traffic stats. You can see a lot of these demographics, but that doesn't help if you want to create a new product, or if you want to see what Etsy as a whole is, because you might have more of one demographic or one particular location coming to your shop. But if there's a lot more traffic for a different demographic that you haven't hit yet, this tool helps you kind of find that and see where you might be missing out on.
Absolutely. Now, I don't think it's a tool that anybody should be using like all the time, like your daily research. It's something to jump in to give you some ideas. But yeah, we were quite excited by the data, especially the demographics, what ages. All this is data that we don't see, so it gives you some ideas of maybe who you might be talking to, gives you somewhere to start.
Exactly.
Okay.
So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Don't forget to go to eRank.com. You can join us on Facebook at facebook.com/EtsyRank. And
yeah, we'll see you. Let us know if there's which tool you want us to do next for our webinar training, whatever these things are now. And yeah, we'll see. Don't forget to subscribe here. Some of the team's always here on a Thursday for our lives. And yeah, we're always here for your questions. But thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
It wasn't easy, no, but with eRank, we're trending now. I dreamed of topping all the charts. I wanted sales to blow up. Remember long nights crafting, no one clicking on my stuff. But I signed up for eRank. Now my shop's a rising star.